Hello, Zoo Med fans. We're here at AnimalCon 2023. We're working into the afternoon, and I'm here to introduce Dakota. Dakota, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, hi, I'm Dakota. I'm a university veterinary science and biology major. I'm also a reptile content creator and educator. I've got about 30 reptiles of my own and over 100 invertebrates at this point, and I do a lot of educational and humorous videos online to share a little bit of information about those animals.
How can our fans find you?
I'm primarily on Instagram right now under the username Inspire Exotics. That's where you'll find the majority of my content. I also do a little bit on TikTok and YouTube. I'm planning to expand, but Instagram's the place to find me.
Wonderful. What do you work with animal-wise? You know, you mentioned insects and reptiles, and is it a plethora of things or specifics that you work with, or? It's
a plethora for sure, because when I first got into the reptile community, I got into it by rescuing and doing rehoming. There are a lot of reptiles that need homes, are being rehomed, and I got into it during COVID when people just couldn't afford it, and they would rehome them to me, and then as you get reptiles, people are like, oh, you have a reptile, you want another. And that's how I sort of got into it. And then invertebrates was sort of a side passion that just came along. I got one tarantula rehomed to me, and now it's like a huge thing for me. Tarantulas, scorpions, and centipedes are kind of what I primarily work with those.
Like potato chips, right? You know,
yeah, exactly.
Can't stop right there. Being in Arizona, one of the things you have that's a blessing is the amazing herping you have there. You know, I got to watch one of your videos where you were out with some people, you know, herping in the deserts. And do you have any interesting stories from that? Anything that would have come up on some of your trips?
I threw a herping party recently, and we saw 8 rattlesnakes, just all western diamondbacks, but it was the most snakes we had ever seen in one night, and it was in a wash too, which we didn't expect.
So they were all in the same locale?
Yeah, it looked like a lot of last year's babies too, so they were just like hanging out. There was one that was climbing a little bush plant. We were like, oh my gosh, an arboreal viper.
That's awesome. What got you into keeping? I mean, you mentioned, you know, some of the things that have happened in, you know, just recent years, but where did you start? Like, what was your first reptile?
So I actually had never had a pet until I turned 18 and moved out and got my first bearded dragon rehomed to me. And I was never planning on like getting a reptile. I was always kind of drawn to them because growing up in Arizona, you always see them, and
sure.
I was an outdoors kid. I was always out catching the bugs and the lizards. And so one of my friends was like, I need a home for this bearded dragon. She was just overwhelmed. She had gotten 2 and one ate the other one. So I was like, yeah, I'll take it. And then from there, I just kind of fell in love with the lizard itself, and then like the herp community as well, because it's just so vast in Arizona and honestly around the world too, which I found out through starting my social media, which actually came about a year after I started keeping reptiles, and from there it's just expanded so much.
Well, to that matter, what started you creating content? What inspired you to start making your Instagram channel? So
I really never had social media growing up, and then I was like, I really want to share, you know, my lizards. I was watching YouTube videos to like Exotic and Emma Sampson, a bunch of big people that I'm now like mutuals with on Instagram, which is crazy.
Getting to meet your heroes, right?
Exactly, yeah. So I was watching them and I was like, I really want to share my reptiles, just like, you know, as a proud mom kind of thing, honestly. And then like one of my videos went viral the first time I posted, and I was like, okay, I guess this is a thing now. So I started connecting with more and more reptile content creators, and from there it's just been continually expanding. It's been really cool just like meet everyone and learn from people.
That's great.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice to young reptile keepers or young creators that are, you know, like to follow in your footsteps? What's your advice to them?
My advice to a young reptile creator would be aware that the exotic pet community is always evolving. Our reptile keeping is still relatively such a new hobby that our care standards and our husbandry standards are constantly changing to be better and better and better. And really to be someone who wants to further their career in exotic pet keeping, you have to be up with wanting the best for your animals and being willing to keep upgrading them. It's an ever-evolving hobby, and that's, I think, how we should look at it, especially since there's live animals here and we're responsible for making sure that they thrive. Like, the first priority should always be the animals. And so if you're looking to get started, I think your priority should be making sure that your animals have the best and continually researching and upgrading your care.
Thank you very much, Dakota. That's wonderful advice. And you heard it here, and enjoy the rest of AnimalCon.
So thank you.